Good morning and you are welcome. Well, it is time once again to go yet at another week. Welcome to Wake Up Nigeria. As usual, we rose up very early in the morning just to ensure that you guys have the bright start that you need to go on the entire 5 days. Well, hey, we're here to set that pace for you, so welcome. Get out of bed already if you're still in bed. It's time to get to work. Let's usher in your brand new week with all the possibilities that it holds. Yes, indeed, it's the regular time. People set their watches to this time when we come on the air, and we thank you very much. We'll bring you all the essentials that you need for a good day and a successful one at that. Good morning once again. My name, of course, is Mazina Appeal, and I am a one-man army today. Don't worry, I got this all covered. I'm joking. The ladies will be joining us soon to have great conversations all the way up until the end of the show. If you guys would love to send in messages, do make free. Send it using the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. And please do remember to make sure that you are following us across all our social media social media handles. It is, of course, at TVC Connect. Every single place, whether Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everything. I want to remember now, we're channel 27 on GOTV and, of course, 49 UHF. Join us on there live. Right, let's let you guys know what's coming up for the show today. We are going to be beginning with some motivation for you, and today we'll be looking at failing successfully. That's the thing. Growing through your mistakes in 2022 with author and transformational coach Bright UK. Good morning and welcome. Good to have you here. What happened to what were you were having so much coffee,
there's just a lot that happens to make this complete.
I can see.
Yes.
It's all good.
Thank you. But we have something really great happening this week for the
Well,
ladies,
we're going to tell them in
especially.
just about a bit. But first off, I want to remember that it's only a fortnight before Nigeria decides. So it's a big deal starting this week. Noting that there are a few things that people need to get straight, first of all, before we go into the elections. And that's one fact. The fact is information. How precise is the information that you're gathering? There's been so much being talked about here and there. But unfortunately, not everybody's carrying the right information or the correct information or precise information. They're either saying something and leaving other things out or not even telling about opposition or anything like so.
So the key then is to make sure you're getting the information from credible sources, media houses, of course, the newspapers and the like, and avoid just taking it off social media because the misinformation on social media it's just a source of worry, doubt, and it could even cost you money, that kind of thing.
Tell me about that.
So make sure that you're just making sure you're listening to the news from accredited news outlets and then going to the right websites. We will do what we can to give you the right websites to check out for
Consume the news in full, not in digest. Social media is made out of digest material, 15 seconds of material. This person said that, and mostly sensational. So that's why you can't actually rely on it all the time. Make sure if you hear something on social media especially, you want to go back and research it. Even if you don't have the time, it's for your own benefit. Don't do digest material all the way. And then one other thing I like to tell people is you want to triple filter your information. Fact check it. How true is this? If you hear something about one party, you want to go learn about the other party just so that you have a balanced idea or view or the correct information all around that. It's for your own benefit because you're going to be making those choices in the fortnight. So make sure that you have everything about you already. That's our advice starting this Monday here. It's very, very essential. You should know.
And then, of course, it's not always your responsibility to disperse this information as well. For all of you that you're in my aunties and uncles' WhatsApp groups, hello, it's not really your job to
guerrilla broadcasters
send out messages that you cannot confirm. So let's be sure of all the information. But this is something we can confirm.
Cheesy.
We have checked out the weather. And this is what you need to know.
Time for the news updates on Wake Up Nigeria. I am Mary Bashua Alimi. The presidential candidate of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, has asked the Central Bank of Nigeria to allow both the old and new Naira notes to coexist for the next 12 months as part of measures to end the hardship being faced by Nigerians following the Naira redesign policy. In a press statement signed by the APC flag bearer, he advised the Apex Bank to implement the Council of State to recirculate the currency to ease the pains of many Nigerians. Part of the statement reads, and I quote, "To bring immediate relief to our people, we urge the Central Bank to consider the following. The CBN should announce that the old and new Naira notes will coexist as legal tender for the next 12 months to follow examples of countries that have successfully implemented similar monetary policy. End of quote. We advised the immediate suspension of associated charges on online transactions and bank transfers and payments via POS until the current crisis is fully resolved. This is the end of quotes. Though, of course, it continues again, bringing fintech companies with capabilities into currency swap program for the next 90 days to help decongest banking halls and ATM points. End of quote. Now, away from that, talking about the bad incidents that occurred here in Lagos, where a 12-year-old student of Chrisland High School, Whitney Adeniran, lost her life during the school's inter-house sports. Now, following the unfortunate incident, the deceased parents have accused the school management of negligence, asking the state government and relevant authorities to intervene. Senior correspondent Sharon Ijason has more.
It was a sad moment for the Adeniran's family as relatives, friends, parents visited the bereaved parents following the death of their daughter during Chrisland School inter-house sports competition, which took place at Agege Stadium last Thursday.
To see this propaganda online saying she was sick, she even refused to participate in the marching, whereas she's not even supposed to march in the first place. And when she showed interest to march, that was when some told her to leave and not to march. And she left and said, I will wait to race. I was to race initially, so I'm going to wait to race.
There was no doctor on ground. There was no qualified nurse on ground. One nurse was there. They are playing my games with me and it's getting me mad.
Chrisland School representative tried to console the family, but they insist the school has to reveal the cause of their ward's death.
Let me also inform you that parents are interested in these results. We are not also giving it to the hand of Chrisland. We as parents, because it concerns us, sir. Once you are part and parcel of a parent that is involved in this issue, it is affecting every one of us. So be rest assured, sir, that we are also interested in these results.
Did you see this press release before they go online or not?
We are not here to talk about this. I've never seen a press release. It is whatever you are seeing there now, I have not seen it.
In a press statement released by the management of the school, authorities say Whitney Adeniran was not in perfect health. Whitney's father, Mike Adeniran, in a brief interview, insists that his daughter's friends have revealed what killed her and the school should own up to it.
I want to call on Lagos State Government. I want to call on Ministry of Health, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Education, the Commissioner of Education and the Minister for Education to please call the doctors, the HOD of Department of Pathology, LASUT, and inform them that they all have an interest in this case. Nigerians as a whole, whom they govern, have an interest in this case. And my daughter's results, my daughter's body should not be doctored. I already know what killed my child. I only want them to say it. They are afraid to say it because they know I will hold them accountable. I already know. They should not doctor the results. The doctors in charge should do all they will do in fairness that they have children. Either they like it or not, we will go to court until I see the end of this case, until I bring Chrisland to justice.
Visiting Agege Stadium, we can see that activities is still ongoing as usual. However, it will be recalled that the Lagos State government shut down Chrisland schools in April 2022. Sharon Ijason, TVC News, Lagos.
Talking sports now, the football January transfer window has closed with last-minute deals which brought spending top of $1 billion. English Premier League clubs topped the spending list, splashing around $1 billion on 52 permanent signings. And of course, for disclosed fees, the total expenditure is more than double last January's total and produced a £675 million net spend after teams recouped around £105.3 million on player sales. EPL side Chelsea signed the most expensive recruits during the window with Enzo Fernandez and a spend of £323 million. And with that, we've come to the end of the news update for this hour. There's so much more to come. Just stay with us.
Hello and good morning. My name is Titilayo Oyin. So it's time for us to take a quick look at what's happening on the covers of the newspapers this morning. And The Nation has this cover. It says, of course, today is Monday, February 13th, 2023. It says, Tinubu lists ways out of Naira crisis. Governors say a CBN act now. Page 2 has more on that. It also has here, renewed hope is here. Vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu for president and Kashim Shettima for vice president. That's what we have on the cover. We also have the Punch newspaper with us this morning. It says here, Khan probes alleged Obi's 2 billion naira largesse. PCC claims blackmail. It also says here, beside the masthead on naira crisis, governors fear recession. 4 more states join legal battle. And again, the campaign flyer there. Renewed hope is here. Vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu for president and Kashim Shettima for vice president. That's what we have on the cover of The Punch. The Daily Trust newspaper is our third paper for this morning. It says here, cash crunch. Rural dwellers resort to trade by barter. Can't access new or old notes after taking cash to banks. Borno Yobe villagers turn to Niger's currency. Page 4 has more on that. Nigeria records 13% growth as airlines airlift 16 million passengers. How influencers, politicians mislead Nigerians ahead of elections. Atiku asks DSS to interrogate Fani Kayode over coup allegation. And it says beneath the masthead there, 13 days to go. We'll work with women across states for Tinubu's victory, says Badaru. Obedience launch structured media, an app for election monitoring. Taraba PDP governorship candidate says, I'll use military experience to address security challenges. Let's see what else we have. In the photo story here, it's showing displaced Syrians taking refuge at the Sultan Ibrahim Mosque in the regime-controlled town of Jable, northwest of the capital, Damascus, yesterday, following the deadly earthquake in Turkey and Syria. CBN's Naira policy is money confiscation, say the NGF. Turkish embassy, Munich, seek help for earthquake victims. Bandits kill DPO, 4 policemen in Niger. And man dies in scuffle with school bus driver who defiled his 7-year-old daughter. That's what we have on the cover of the Daily Trust. And indeed, that's all we have when it comes to the headlines in the dailies. Let's take a short break and be back with more.
That's a very beautiful picture of your daughters.
Oh,
Nice.
thank you.
I like.
Thank you. Keep them right there in my face.
That's a reminder.
All day, every day, as a
What
reminder.
happens when you're not there, though?
No, God, angels, all his angels are right there around my entire family. And those are the kind of prayer points that the average parent who heard news over the weekend has been praying. And we know that it's just God that keeps our children safe. And we're all parents here.
Yeah.
I know that we all felt extremely
Well, that
emotional.
story touched me. I couldn't even see the video of the mother because I didn't know how I was going to take it. It was very sad from what I heard, the news I heard. But so many information's going on about what exactly happened. We saw on the news, however, the father's reaction and how pained they are. Mary, you did say that at that point it might seem that the parents are still in denial, quite frankly.
It does look like they're still in denial. You know, when something happens, the shock you're still into the fact that, okay, maybe some kind of miracle will still happen. And of course, everyone just wishes for that miracle. But one of the worst things any parents can experience is burying their own child. Nobody wishes for it. We all pray, we all try to dedicate our children to God, but life happens all the same, and it's just very sad. At the end of the day, people die, not because they are not prayerful, they are not holy enough, but because death is inevitable. It's very, very sad how this has turned out to be. Raising a 12-year-old and then losing a child, and not even on the road or something where you would think the child would be safe within the school environment. Yes, the event took place outside school. It took place in a stadium, but it was still like school environment because it was a school event. So you would think that there will be first aid, the children will be protected.
I think that's exactly what we should talk about today. Safety for kids, especially in schools or especially during these functions. There's inter-house sports, there's cultural day, there's excursions and stuff like that. I'm always very, very apprehensive when the school says, oh, we're going so-and-so place. I'm like, oh, really? She's going to get in the vehicle to get there? How far is it away from home? What have you guys put in what measures have you guys put in check? I remember being a kid and going out for inter-house sport one time, and this was decades ago. But one thing that I can take from, one thing I remember that I didn't really like was the fact that while we were out on inter-house sport, we could not get drinkable water. And kids had to wander into people's backyards and stuff. Ask for water. And anything could have happened, but this was in the 80s, so I guess we're safer. But imagine such a situation right now with everything that's going on and all. So what advice or suggestions for schools when it comes to these? Because kids must get educated. Part of that education is exposure. You can't get all of that inside of the four walls of a school. They have to go out. I appreciate that schools are putting this into consideration, but what measures are they putting in place? So in this instance, for instance.
My issue is it's not as if it was a school that lacked resources. This is a school that is being paid in the millions per child. The average family probably has 2 or 3 children. So you understand the kind of investment that should be in place in such a school. The medical personnel should have been on ground. There should have been more chaperones, personnel plural.
Not just one vehicle.
And what does it really take you to have an actual ambulance on location? How much would that have cost? There's probably even a doctor or medical professional that could even donate it to have his staff there. They didn't think about it. Then, of course, there's a lot of information going out there. We did talk about earlier not giving the wrong information. We don't have every single fact yet. We have what the parents have said in videos and what we've heard from the grapevine. But the truth is, the school, in my opinion, should have done more. But I'm gonna say that every family is apprehensive about their child going out of their space. But when you've entrusted your child to certain authorities, your mind is supposed to calm down at least. You're supposed to,
So I'm beginning to think that, and I don't know whether to apologize or to just say this as it is, but this is beginning to look like a glorified public school. Because last year it was a case of abuse, that's bullying, where a child lost his life. This year is a case of carelessness, if it's confirmed. Because the unfortunate thing is the parents saying, oh, he knows that's the dad, saying, I know what happened.
So don't cover it up.
Don't cover it up. And what the news filtering is that, oh, she was electrocuted. And so by popcorn machine, that's the news filtering. Of course, it's still unconfirmed. And so you ask yourself, is it that there's just this like a bicycle attitude? When I was growing up, I attended Dorigos and Chrisland then, it was top-notch. Like, when you talk about good schools in Lagos, you have to mention those. So I'm wondering, is it that standards are falling or the people in charge now just don't care? Because it seems like there's too much carelessness going on.
Just
when I was in school, you would have glucose, you would have sick bay, you have the nurse on ground, and then we'll still... Like, there was always something to... Because children will always get injured. Children will always have emergencies. A child could be running, a perfectly healthy child could be running, and probably the heart fails or something. So what happens? The child dies. So why are you having inter-house sports if you cannot take care of the children that are involved? And see, this thing is, it's driving me mad because it could happen to anybody. It could happen to any parent. It could be any child. And this is not just about Chrisland. To all schools that are being very careless about this, it's Chrisland today. We don't know what school it will be tomorrow. And we hope there won't be any such thing. Because when it happens in your school, everyone is going to make sure you pay dearly for it because you have Chrisland to learn from. It's ridiculous.
It is a wake-up call, definitely, to a lot of school managements and authorities who have been less than consistent with their policies, especially with regards to child safety. There was another story about a school bus matter that we'll talk about that another time. But the truth is, schools need to step up, especially, but not limited to the schools that have resources like this.
How can you pay through your nose for this?
May God,
See how passionate you are about this topic.
May God protect all our children, and may we never hear such news again.
Amen to that.
Amen.
On that somber note, we'll be back.
Welcome to the Wake Up Nigeria kitchen. And this smile on my face is for one reason and one reason only. She's a brand new chef, and we know that brand new chefs are very generous. We have Chef Amara in the building. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the Wake Up Nigeria kitchen.
Thank you.
Now, you've put a very interesting aromatic display of ingredients right here on our table. And you need to tell us what we're making today.
Okay, so today we're making oha soup, delicious oha soup.
Oha! Okay, so you want to tell us a little bit about oha soup and why you decided to make it today?
Yes, so I'm an Igbo girl. From my name, I'm sure you can decipher. So
Yeah.
oha soup is originally from the southeast.
Okay.
And then the leaf has a whole lot of benefits. You know, right from when I was really young, my mom used to make this food and tell us, oh, it's so good for the body. And then I realized, you know, the nutrients packed in this rosewood, this oha leaf.
Okay.
So oha leaf is very good. You know, it helps digestion. It helps, you know, boost your blood cell, your red blood cell.
Interesting.
It helps those that have diabetes. Once you have this food, trust me, you're on your way to recovery.
Amen to that.
Yes.
All right, now I'm interested in all these ingredients, and we have to tell everyone what we're using to prepare oha soup today. Sorry, let me just move this off the heat here. Started to smoke a little. Put that behind. But let's start from here. What do we have here?
The stockfish,
Okay, stockfish. Any specific type of stockfish?
the head.
The
head
head.
of stockfish, the head.
Okay. All right, so this stockfish now, this is quite a bit of stockfish here. What do we need to do to this stockfish right now?
We need to wash it
Okay,
and add it to the pot.
okay, fantastic.
Exactly.
And we have here some protein,
Yes, beef and stripes.
beef and tripe. So that's basically shaki and
Shaki,
beef.
yes, that's right.
All right, now this is not frozen beef. This is like fresh
Fresh.
from the market.
Very needed for oha soup.
All right, fantastic. Now we also have this here,
Smoked panla.
smoked wanla. Is there any version of this oha soup that doesn't involve smoked wanla?
Yeah, definitely your choice of obstacles. So I use this as, you know,
What?
obstacles. So when you're having one morsel of swallow with your soup, everything is going down well. So
All right, so now, what is this?
uzuza leaves.
Uzuza leaves.
That's right.
Okay, so is this a staple for oha?
Yes, very important. Although I see a lot of people make oha without the uzuza leaf, but where I'm from, how I was brought up, you don't miss out uzuza leaves in your oha.
All right, so we also have another leaf here. What's this?
The star of the meal, the oha leaves.
The oha leaf. So
Yes.
this is what makes it oha soup.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Now, there's something I'm very familiar with here. Yes, so everybody's familiar with this one. What is this?
For more cow skin.
So we still have quite a lot of work to do on this pomo because I know that this one is supposed to be tiny.
Tiny, yes.
So. All right. We also have here onions.
Crayfish.
Crayfish. What's this?
They call this achi, the thickener. I use it
Achi.
to thicken the soup, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Achi. And then, of course, pepper.
Pepper,
There are two types of pepper here.
yes. So,
Talk to us about these.
okay, so they are Scotch bonnet, the
Okay.
yellow and the red. The red is the usual rodo, you know, and then the yellow is for that heat and extra spice.
So this is a lot of rodo. Are we using all of this?
Well, yes.
All of it?
Yes.
Hey, this
I like it
studio
spicy.
today. Oh. All right, and then of course we have our seasoning cubes, some salt, and of course palm oil. All right, so there are two little hidden secrets here. What are these?
I call them ogiri. Ogiri.
Ogiri.
There's no oha soup without ogiri.
All right, okay. So we are going to see this all come to life. First of all, we have to wash all these proteins. Oh, I opened the ogiri.
I know, right?
Oh, goodness me.
Thanks.
I shouldn't have done that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm back. But we're going to clean up all the proteins and get chopping. And then we're going to put, you said we're going to put what on the heat? Yeah?
Yes, water, your proteins, your meat,
Yeah.
your tribes, your stockfish, your diced pomo.
Fantastic. All that's going to go on the heat. And by the time we come back, we'll be well underway. What will you be doing? Will you be trying this at home? Do you have some of these ingredients handy? If you do, why not join us as we cook? Send us a video. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC and join us with Chef Amara. All right, let's take a quick break and be back with so much more. All right, great. So, Mazino, just stay where you are. Don't have to come to the kitchen. We saw you getting up there trying to come here. We don't need you in the kitchen yet. We don't need you yet, not yet. But we have Chef Amara here, and she is already well on her way to putting together this oha soup. All right, fabulous. So let's talk about what we've done so far.
Okay, so I introduced the protein to the pot.
Okay.
I let that cook for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
You know, with its own steam. It produced its own water. Then I added a little bit more water.
Okay.
I introduced the pomo, the cow skin, and then stockfish, oporoko, to this. So I'm just going to let this boil for another 15 minutes.
Okay, fantastic. So that needs to boil or steam or heat or whatever, cook. That's the word, cook for 15 minutes.
Right.
But what do we do right now? What's next?
So I'm going to be prepping my smoked fish.
Okay.
I'll be blending my pepper.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So the pepper itself, now, of course, you're removing the stems.
Yes, I am.
Go straight into the blender. Is there anything else that's going to go in there?
No, just the pepper.
Just pepper. Okay. Some people add, onions.
Onions, yeah. I added onions to my protein.
Okay.
Yeah, while boiling it with
Okay,
some seasoning cubes and salt.
All right. Okay. So I did mention earlier on that this is quite a lot of pepper.
It's not.
On the it's not Richter scale. I can't remember what they call the index for pepper now. I'll remember it eventually. But those yellow peppers can be really hot. Mm-hmm. But is there a special flavor that the yellow peppers give?
Yes, a very special flavor. Like, it heightens the taste of the food.
Okay.
Yeah, so the normal red rodo pepper is just their basic. But when you add your yellow pepper to your soups, you see the difference. You know, the heightened taste. And you enjoy your food the more.
All right, then. So this is going to have to go into the blender. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be running the other direction because I don't like it when they blend pepper because it makes me cough. But we're also going to be working on this fish right now while we take a quick break. Chef Amara is here and oha is about to be prepared. You do not want to miss the finished product of this. We'll be coming back to show you what we're up to in a bit.
Yes, indeed. Second hour here. Loved you yesterday, love you still, love you always. We always will. And we even love you more because you always tune in right here for Wake Up Nigeria, bright and early. If you missed 1 hour, it's okay. We've got another one just prepared for you. The second hour here, it is often said, is the favorite for most people out there. Yes, we set the pace so our contemporaries, they can't even follow because we're so way gone. Thank you very much, everybody. For our Monday edition here, we absolutely have so much to go. Everything is renewed inside the second hour. And for you, welcome once again. We love the energy oozing from the kitchen this morning, and we'll be telling you exactly how that's going if you guys simply just stick around for the next 4 to 5 minutes. Now let's proceed now with the rest of the show. My name, of course, is Mazino Appeal, and you can watch us live, GOTV channel 27 and UHF band 49. That's on terrestrial. And you want to follow us on our social media platforms. It's at TVC Connect across all of them, and you can also see past episodes of the show on YouTube if you go back even right after the show here this morning. Make sure you use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC if you want to send in the comments, and we love to read those. Still to come on the show here today, we have highlights from the recent edition of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Okay, yeah, so it's a Monday, And, you know, it's award season and event season in the US, well, all over the world actually now, because the Brit Awards also happened last week. But then a concert that we probably kind of forgot was going to happen is the Super Bowl halftime concert.
Oh, yeah.
And that is one of the biggest slices of airtime any advertiser can get.
Yeah.
And we have people creating commercials and all that. But for once, commercials were not really the focus of this year's Super
It
Bowl
really wasn't
halftime.
actually, because I haven't really seen most of the.
I haven't
the
seen
buzz.
them, not yet.
Yeah,
but
I know,
we'll
but
probably
the
go
buzz,
online and
there's
check.
always that, even before the games, especially even after the games, it's all about the commercials, and I love.
There wasn't so much buzz.
It wasn't at all. I'm
But
wondering
guess
why.
what? Rihanna came forth and changed it all.
How so? What?
She
What was special?
became the buzz. Why?
Because?
Because Rihanna gave us a baby bump reveal
Yeah, she's
just a few hours ago.
So there was that.
Yeah.
Surprising. Oh, you won't watch it, but it's very surprising still. Whose business is
This is not womb watching, no. This one is
watchers
celebrating
would know.
with her.
She announced it.
Yeah, exactly.
She went,
And
Boom.
woo! Yeah, exactly.
always.
She wore this really interesting red outfit. It looked like it was painted on her, by the way. And she did perform. Maybe she didn't put as much energy as she would
She
have.
couldn't have.
But she looked glamorous. She was glowing. And she's pregnant again, guys.
Well, congratulations to her.
Congratulations.
Then it was not worth it that Trump actually went at her just before the games. Did you see that tweet from Donald
well,
Trump?
I saw the tweet by Trump, but the reality is she did the best that she could do. For me, though, the best in recent times, definitely last year.
Yeah, last year's Super Bowl concert.
Definitely
Yeah.
last year. You can't deny that fact.
So
The
all
rap
the
artists
rappers,
and all, oh my
nostalgic
goodness.
rappers with Eminem,
That was
we had
last year.
Lil Kim.
Yeah, last
it
year.
was last
50,
year's Super Bowl.
Snoop.
Snoop was
Yeah.
there, 50 Cent was there. It was
It
amazing.
was really nice. It was
great.
really nice.
Well, hey, it was grand.
Congratulations.
It was good. We still got grand stuff coming your way, but first let's do the weather, then we'll give you the dish right after.
Time for the news update on Wake Up Nigeria. Hi, I'm Mary Bashua Alimi. Governor of Zamfara State, Bello Matawale, has ordered the arrest of anyone who refuses to accept the old notes of 200, 500 and 1,000 naira in the state. He says the old notes remain legal tender until the final verdict of the Supreme Court in the case instituted by 3 northern governors of Kaduna, Kogi and Zamfara states. The governor applauded the Naira redesign policy but said it came at a wrong time, especially as the country is going into general election. He added that the policy has plunged the nation's economy into a serious crisis and worsened security challenges. Moving on, about 7 days after the devastating 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck Turkey and Syria, rescue teams are rushing to save victims that could still be alive under the rubble, although UN liaison office in Turkey is warning that approaching the end of the search and rescue window, officials say more than 33,000 people have been killed and tens of thousands injured after the earthquake. The number of deaths in Turkey has risen to 29,605 as at Sunday, while more than 4,500 people have died in Syria. The devastating earthquake has killed thousands and left millions homeless in both Syria and Turkey, leaving a myriad of people on both sides of the border without basic necessities and services. Humanitarian aid is yet to reach all the affected families nearly a week after Monday's earthquake, and dozens of families are left homeless and without tents. Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan has said the government will deal firmly with looters, noting that a state of emergency had been declared. In the meantime, officials in Turkey have issued 113 arrest warrants in connection with the construction of buildings that collapsed in Monday's earthquake, while the Turkish police have already taken at least 12 people into custody. including building contractors. 131 suspects have so far been identified as responsible for the collapse of some of the thousands of buildings flattened in the 10 provinces affected. Meanwhile, unrest in southern Turkey has disrupted rescue efforts in some places. And that's it. All the news updates for today on Wake Up Nigeria. We're heading to the kitchen right now to find out what's going on there.
Quite a lot is going on right here with Chef Amara. We've been waiting or standing by for the proteins to come to the boil. Let's see what they look like right now. Ooh, okay, bubbling away, bubbling away. In that deep cookware there, we have pomo, we have stockfish.
We have beef. We have tribes, and it's all coming together. We just need that to get a bit tender.
While we were away, you were doing quite a few things. So what is this now?
The ogiri, the smelly thing.
Okay.
When I choked you the other time.
Okay.
Yes, I had to dissolve that in the water so it can go in there easily.
Okay.
So I blended my pepper. I washed my smoked mala. I deboned it.
Okay.
Yes. Washed my vegetables, rinsed them properly.
Did you use anything to wash the vegetables?
Just clean water.
Clean water. No salt, nothing like that?
No, nothing like that.
All right, so what happens right now? What is the next thing for us to do?
So I'll be introducing my pepper, my crayfish.
Okay.
Then I'll be adding my achi.
Okay.
So there's a little trick I'll be using to introduce the achi into my pot.
All right. So this palm oil has been looking very, lonely and, unattended
That's
to.
the trick.
Yeah.
The palm oil and the achi, so they get to mix together.
Okay, so you mix those together before adding it to.
Exactly, to the
Fabulous.
pot. Yeah.
All right, so do we have to wait for the meat to be ready, or can we do this all in a separate pot, or what can we do next?
So we're going to introduce all of this, but we just have to wait a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, for the meat to get really tender so we can chew on it easily.
All right. Yeah. Okay, so now if I wanted to go to the market to put together a dish like this, just off the top of your head, how much do you think I should invest in this meal?
Well, so it depends on the quantity. If you're looking at feeding your family, your immediate family.
Maybe a family of four. Mommy, daddy, 2 kids.
Okay, say with the current economy, say 7,000 naira.
7,000?
Yes.
Not bad, not bad. So you're saying in there, you have how much in terms of protein?
Proteins of about 4,000.
Okay.
Yes. So you have this. This is 700.
Okay.
You have your oha leaves, 500.
Okay.
Have your pepper. This is crayfish, 700.
Okay.
Because your oha soup needs enough crayfish.
Okay.
Like that's the richness of the soup.
Is ogiri expensive?
Ogiri. No, very cheap. 100 naira. This is 100 naira ogiri.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then some onions.
200. Achi 200. Palm oil.
Palm oil costs. How much is this palm oil?
This is a little of a bottle, say 500 naira, half a bottle.
God will help us in this country.
It
This
really
500 naira palm oil. Yeah. Something that, well, anyhow, this is what they used to sell in a nylon for 50 naira. When I was a lot younger. Let's just say that.
That's a long time
I would
ago.
tell you how long ago that was. But well, we're looking at how this whole meal is going to come together, and hopefully people at home are doing so as well. The ingredients are fresh and colorful and flavorful. The whole studio is already coming alive with the aroma of this food. But what are we going to be using to eat this oha soup? You've not told us.
Gari eba, yellow eba.
Yellow eba.
Yes, yellow gari.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
On a Monday morning, you need that extra boost that this yellow gari will give you in this oha soup. Chef Amara, we appreciate you for coming to show us your tips and tricks.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So how will we know that this protein is ready?
So I'll just check that now.
How will we know?
So you take this up.
Okay.
As a chef, I'm a professional, so I can tell. Usually I'm going to time this and say, okay, after 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, your beef should be tender. Ooh. Do you want to taste it?
I actually do, but I can't do that now. If not, I won't be able to speak if I do.
Okay.
But let's look at it. Look at how, that looks nice.
Yeah.
So I'm always worried about my beef shrinking a bit too much, right? I've actually kind of remove beef from our menu at home completely.
Why?
For health reasons.
Okay.
But the issue for me with beef was that it always shrinks to almost
small.
non-existent sometimes.
So I think it depends on the kind of meat you're buying. So there's what they call in the market water meat, dry meat.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
So the water meat is the one that when you buy, it just shrinks immediately.
Okay.
The dry ones, when
Yeah.
you buy, still buffy.
Okay.
So once you cook them, they're still big and all of that.
All right, so you heard it. Water meat, dry meat. We are going to be taking a quick break, but as you can see, we have this all under control. You need to stay right there so you can see the finished product after this break.
And you're welcome. It's time for our final segment here today. And today for motivation, we have with us Mr. Bright UK. Now, he's a transformational coach and also an author. And today we're talking about failing successfully. I love the sound of that. It's like a paradox.
Yeah.
So you fail, but you succeed. In fact, I was listening to something, I think it was Denzel Washington only yesterday, who said the people who succeed are the people who have been successful at failing. So you learn from your failures. But I'm the consumer. You are the motivational speaker here. So tell us about it. Failing successfully. What's that about?
First and foremost, it's about how people see failure, right? And if we can see it in a better light, maybe we can change the narrative and then also change what we make out of it. In the real sense, a lot of people have had to fail into miracles. So in other words, they got to see their mistakes as miracles. And of course, miracles came out of the mistakes, as it were. You know, so it depends on how people see it. When they see it in negative light, they respond to it negatively. When you see it in a positive light, you also respond to it positively, and you can make something bigger and better out of it. So that's really what it is. So there has to be a change in the way we think, a change in the way we see. Oftentimes, you know, people tend to feel the event of failure. They feel failure instead of thinking rationally through it. All right, so there has to just be a difference, a shift in the way people think about it.
So to what aspect of our lives now do we apply this? Professional, family, social, what exactly? How does it work when we fail to succeed?
Well, failure cuts across every area, especially where you can, you know, have goals or particularly have expectations of yourself, right? So if you have an expectation, you have a goal in a particular area, whether it's your family, whether it's your career, whether it's your business, any area, then there is the possibility of failure. As long as there is a possibility of success, there is also the possibility of failure.
So failure has a way of actually making people, discouraging people. It's a it's like a big whoop to you. And you're like, oh, that's it, I'm not going to try this. How do I take this, turn it around, and view failure differently if I'm going to succeed in the end?
All right. First and foremost, they need to make a mind shift, right? And let me just identify a few of those shifts.
Please.
Normally, people see failure as an anomaly. Like, I mean, it's abnormal. It's not supposed to happen. And that's why people don't even prepare for failure in the first place. But if we are proactive about failure, we are proactive about our mistakes, and to say, okay, as much as I prepare for success, I also prepare for the possibility, the prospect of, you know, because to aim for success is also to risk failure, you know, but if you keep on thinking about the risk, you will not even be able to take the actions that will bring about success. So instead of seeing it as an anomaly, see it as part of, you know, part of life. So that
Why go in expecting to fail? Is that what you're saying?
So you should expect that things can go wrong. Of course, you must have heard that whatever can go wrong.
Murphy's Law.
I mean, the Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong, right? But the point is, expect that something could happen, and then you prepare for that. In the event that something happens, you know, apart from what will be my ideal target, what do I do? Right? By the time we don't create that gap, you know, don't accommodate it mentally, that becomes a problem, because once we fail, we think that's the end, whereas it ought to be a bend. And that's another way to look at it, right? Because people think failure is the end of the journey, but it's not really the end of the journey, it's not the end of the game. It's just a bend. It comes to redirect you, not necessarily to stop you, right? And so people need to see it from that angle that, okay, this is not coming to stop me, it's coming to redirect me. It also does not mean that it's coming to invalidate your pursuits. It's not saying you ought not to do this. No, it's only saying maybe you need to develop, you know, more capacity. You know, it's pointing you to some, you know, levels of self-awareness to show you what is lacking that you are not seeing. right? And then the moment you close that gap, you come back with a resounding success. That's basically what it is.
So it's building that mental apparatus now that
Yeah,
counts. How
yeah.
do I build it? What do I say to myself? Is it really, words of affirmation, or is it something physical? Noting that I'm going into this project and anything that could happen. And I'm not going to use the word failure now. I'm going to say anything that could happen might happen.
Yes.
How do I build my mental capacity to take those hard-hitting blows that might come, that might even want to end that project for me?
Yeah. So first and foremost, let's be proactive about this. You know, what I mean by being proactive is let's not wait until an event of failure before we begin to build the mental apparatus, because by that time it's way too late, right? So ahead of time, what you want to do is to study the examples of people who have actually failed before, and every great person has failed. Everyone who has aimed at success has risked the possibility of failure, and they failed several times. They failed into success, and that's what it means to fail successfully. They failed their way to success, right? And that's why I say it's part of the journey, right? So in building your mental apparatus, you want to first take time to go through people who have failed. I mean, check their stories and see that these guys always bounce back, and they bounce back bigger, better, you know, than normal. I mean, two of the most celebrated footballers today, Messi and Ronaldo, they've had their own fair share of failure. I remember when Cristiano Ronaldo first aimed to become the world best, right? Sometime in 2007, you know, Kaká emerged the world best. You know, he could have gone back and say, I'm not trying, because he gave his best. He did all he could. The very next year, he gave his best again. And guess what? Manchester United won the Champions League, and he was the world best footballer. And don't forget, after that episode, I think Messi won about 3 or 4 consecutively. That guy could have, I mean, he could have been bitter, he could have been angry, he could have gone to bed again. But he kept at it. And then before you know it, he was back there on the stage getting the world best. Even Messi himself. Messi failed with Argentina again and again and again, to a point where he even, you know, retired.
Yeah.
I mean, abruptly. But then he had to come back, right? Realizing that, okay, I can do something. And then today he's a World Cup winner. So the point here is this: if we can glean from the stories of others, we come to a point where we realize that this whole thing is part of the game. It's part of the journey. It's not an anomaly. It should be expected, right? And the moment you begin to think that way, you begin to also check your own life and realize that in your own life there have been episodes, right, of failure. It's just that you did not stop. And that's why someone said success is going from failure to failure without losing the motivation, without losing steam, without losing your passion, as it were. So building your mental apparatus, you have to draw, you know, lessons and insights from the stories of others, and then look back at your own journey and see the same thing. Again, you also have to be rational about it. Like I said earlier, we feel failure. People feel failure to the point where they begin to think of themselves as being failures. They think, because I failed, I'm a failure. It ought not to be like that. Failure is an event. It's about what happened. It's not about who you are. And the very fact that something happened means something else can happen. If you could fail, you can also succeed. Those are events.
Oh. Well, Bright, thank you very much. For a moment there, I thought we were doing sports. Olamide, I think this guy can do sports. In any case, thank you very much, Bright. That's one way to look at it, and one way to actually start your Monday. It's a very fantastic one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think from now on, if you're out there and you have a project on hand, what you should do is start, well, prepare your mind for those contingencies, for those bends in the way that don't act to end your project, but actually just modify them. If you have that mental apparatus, like Bright has said, you're only learning how to succeed, and eventually you will. Thank you once again. Do stay tuned, do stick around, because when we get back, we're going to be going inside of the kitchen and having Bright here taste some of our scrumptious meal. But let's take a quick break, and when we're back...
At a marvelous Monday right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Chef Amara has been amazing. Oha soup already done.
Ebari.
Eba.
I don't need to say, I don't know how to pronounce
it.
Not because it's not tasty,
But you will know Amala.
Look how amazing it looks.
Egg.
Woo! So our guest today, Bright UK, is going to give it a taste for us and tell us what he thinks. We know what we think because the aroma in the studio is
amazing.
It's a testament.
Go ahead, have it.
Let's dig in.
Bright, don't be shy.
There's a lot of obstacles in there, you
can
know.
see
There's beef,
some traffic
there's
lights and
fish.
roundabouts.
Traffic.
Turning
Wow,
points and
traffic
stuff.
lights, roundabouts. Really? I've
Seriously?
never heard it that way.
See his mouth.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I'm
look at
salivating
that.
already. Bryce is just going for gold. He wants to taste
Let's
gold.
go. I'm coming.
Are you trying to get the meat? Just take this
Go
bomona.
for meat. That's the best
Okay.
thing to taste.
You know,
You guys are confusing the
It's
man.
the fish he
it's the
wants.
stockfish.
The stockfish he wants.
It's called
Quality
oporoko.
stockfish.
Yeah.
Don't let it burn you. It's a bit hot.
Okay.
Actually chewed along with him.
It's fantastic.
It is.
Thank you.
It is. All right, Chef
I
Amara.
actually feared you getting this ready in time.
Yes.
Really?
So Mary has no
Because I was
faith
like-
in you.
No, I was like,
Let me
with
tell
your
you.
poroko still being
No,
so
Mary.
dry.
That's not how you
How
put
are
it.
you going to pull it off?
Mary said
Together with the meat.
at the beginning of the show, Mary said, this thing will
Don't
not be ready
believe
before
him.
the
I
end.
didn't say so.
Because
Wow.
Okporoko takes time.
Wow.
And you know, she has no faith in you. I, on the other hand,
She will not
Wow.
give you meat for it.
So all this toasting you're toasting, don't worry, they will give you meat. Don't worry. We have had a marvelous Monday so far. Thank you, Bright UK,
Yeah.
for joining
Thank you
us
very
today.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Chef
you.
Amara,
Thank you
for
for
being
having
here.
me.
We still have an amazing week ahead of us. Hopefully, we've helped you start your week the right way this morning. Of course, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. It's going to be a special show tomorrow.
sudden, you don't know
You're going to be seeing lovely people in red, great outfits, and all the gifts Mazina has been promising us for the whole year.
not
He will
us,
bring
I'm
them
promising
tomorrow.
you
If
see,
he
you're
doesn't,
digging this a hole deeper.
No,
We
Wow.
do not have a relationship going on.
Say it on national TV. Thank you so much, Mazino. Mazino gave me Valentine gift 2 weeks ago.
I did not know.
Why explain to your wife?
Celebrate
Why
Valentine's
you get to explain to your wife?
Anyhow, happy Valentine's Day in
I'm just
advance,
kidding.
people. Have a great day. Bye.